They said, fight a real boxer. They said, fight someone your size. They said, fight a world champion. We looked at a long list of supposed fighters for me to fight.
Yeah. Good. Right hand. Good. Right hand. Right hand. That's the shot. See? If he comes in there, see, over. You see what I mean? You don't have to do that or come out. Just boom, drop the chin. Good. Left hook high now and then just roll my right hook. Good. Too low.
That, oh, this happened, that happened. So it's the name of my career is criticizing me and then making excuses after I do the impossible or no way it's gonna happen.
With just 4 weeks remaining until Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua step into the ring, both men are training at maximum intensity. Jake is grinding through exhausting sessions, hard sparring, and the most demanding preparation of his career. Joshua appears sharp, explosive, and fully locked in, making it clear he refuses to underestimate Jake. Their camps reflect discipline, hunger, and absolute commitment to this showdown.
That's good. Don't look for nothing. Now step around him. Upper body. Keep a rhythm now. Keep a rhythm. Don't wait on him. Now you're waiting on him, mate.
The boxing world is exploding with non-stop predictions as the highly anticipated showdown between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua comes closer. Every analyst, coach, and former fighter seems to have an opinion, but Joey Knight's warning has stood out more than most. According to Joey, Jake Paul accepted this fight not because it makes sense competitively, but because it guarantees massive global attention, viral moments, and one of the biggest paydays of his career. Joey acknowledges that Jake is a smart businessman who understands how boxing works behind the scenes, and he knows this matchup brings huge financial rewards. However, Joey also believes Jake is pushing the limits dangerously far. He emphasized that stepping in against someone as experienced, powerful, and physically overwhelming as Anthony Joshua is a completely different level from anything Jake has faced. Joshua is a true heavyweight whose punch can end a career instantly. Joey warned that if Jake suffers serious damage, no amount of fame or money will matter afterward.
A lot of cash, maybe not as much as the Anthony Joshua fight, but a lot of cash, and can still have a serious chance of going on to earn even more paydays, whereas the damage that it could do to his body could be irreversible for that opportunity to earn money in a boxing career going forward. So is this the retirement bag, or do you actually think you can win? Because I read a study recently, and I believe it said something along the lines of men overemphasize or overcalculate their ability to fight by about 500 times. And I'm saying Jake Paul would probably need to be 500 times better to stand a chance against Anthony Joshua. And I can't get how he doesn't already know this. Surely he has sparred with heavyweights. Surely the recent sparring that he had with the likes of Shakur Stevenson and with the likes of Ray Ford, amongst others, Badu Jack, surely that would have taught you that there are levels to boxing. And if these small guys are able to show you things that you had no idea that you were vulnerable to in a boxing ring, what happens when someone who hits 4, 5, 6 times as hard as that does the exact same thing to you and lands it on your chin? The whole reason of why I know where I am in the influencer boxing scene, in the misfit scene, is because of the level that I have sparred at. I've sparred boys that have gone on to box for world titles. I've sparred with English champions, and I've sparred with loads of Southern area champions. And doing that enabled me to understand what level I can reach in boxing and what level I can't reach. And some people might say, well, Jake Paul's clearly more ambitious than you. There's no reason for him to be, because he's not a better pound-for-pound boxer than me. So there really is no reason. And that really does make me think that one of two things have happened. Jake Paul has never, ever had serious elite sparring anywhere.
Analysts Adam Catterall and Nick Peet wasted no time highlighting the undeniable gap between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. From their perspective, the difference in size, power, and elite-level experience is so overwhelming that the matchup simply doesn't resemble a true competitive contest. Instead, they believe it will look far more like a controlled sparring session, with Joshua dictating every moment of the fight. Both analysts stress that the physical disparity alone is enormous, but when combined with Joshua's championship pedigree, the situation becomes even more lopsided. In their view, comparing their levels of ring experience isn't even meaningful. Joshua has spent years facing world-class heavyweights, while Jake is still developing and has never encountered anyone even close to Joshua's caliber. Catterall and Pete argue that this fight shouldn't exist from a pure boxing standpoint. The only reason it's happening is because Jake Paul wants it, driven by attention, business, and spectacle. Joshua, on the other hand, has nothing significant to gain, nothing to prove, and no competitive benefit from taking part. Their analysis makes the bigger picture clear. This matchup is fueled by commercial interest rather than genuine sporting legitimacy, revealing that entertainment, not competition, is the true force behind it.
And the domestic rankings in America, and he might even make top 50. He might make top 50 if you pick him right, great. But if you put him in with meritocracy and put him in rankings and actually make him fight the number 49 guy in America or try and climb up, he's going to get found out because he's a nutter novice. Now I speak from experience here. I did an exhibition bout with Shane Leary, a former world champion, and I was fucking 2 or 3 stone bigger than him. I was 5 inches bigger than him, very similar to AJ and Jake Paul. And I was a novice. I'd boxed, sparred and moved around my whole life, but never been in a competitive fight. And we did it for charity. And we did 3 rounds, and at the end of it, I realised, and I knew it going in, that Shane Leary controlled pretty much every second of those 3 minutes. Pretty much every second he controlled. He put the pressure on me in 1 round, he hit me with a body shot in the 2nd round, and he caught everything I threw at him in the 3rd round when he said, go on, try and knock me out. Caught everything. And, you know, in a similar vein, Anthony Joshua controls every second of this fight that he wants to control, because he comes from a certain level of stock that Jake Paul can't shortcut his way to. This fight is happening because Jake Paul sees the name Anthony Joshua and has probably gone, it's that conversation in the schoolyard, isn't it? What would you do for 100? What would you do for $1 million? What would you do for 2 million? What would you do for 10 million? What would you do for 100 million? Would you let Anthony Joshua punch you in the face for 100 million notes? Yeah, I fucking would. Absolutely, AJ. Step up, mate. Take your best shot. Wake me up in the hospital. Cha-ching. Isn't Jake Paul doing the same thing? Getting 100 million quid off Netflix to let Anthony Joshua punch him in the face.
Right. Apart from whatever it is, 50, 60, 70 million, whatever the figure is for Anthony Joshua, I honestly...
Wade, host of the Wade Concept podcast, takes an even deeper look at why this matchup is nearly impossible to justify from a boxing perspective. In his view, there is simply no angle, technical, physical, or strategic, from which Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua makes legitimate sense. Jake lacks the experience, composure, timing, punch resistance, and elite-level power that someone like Joshua naturally carries after years competing at the highest level of the heavyweight division. Joshua has shared the ring with world champions, knockout specialists, and highly skilled technicians. Jake Paul, on the other hand, has limited professional rounds and has never faced anyone remotely close to Joshua's size, strength, or pedigree. Wade believes that Paul cannot realistically survive, let alone compete, against a fighter of Joshua's caliber. The skill gap is enormous, the danger level is extreme, and the probability of Jake being overwhelmed is high. Even if Paul enters the fight confident, determined, and fully committed, Wade argues that none of that changes the fundamental reality. Strategies based on surprise or unpredictability will not work against someone as seasoned as Joshua. His experience is too deep, his fundamentals too sharp, and his ring IQ too advanced to fall for basic traps or untested game plans. From Wade's perspective, this matchup exists only in theory, not in logic. He further points out that even the promotional build-up feels manufactured. While the idea of 2 big names clashing draws attention, the actual sporting value simply isn't there. His stance reflects the concerns shared by many analysts. This fight is driven far more by spectacle, hype, and business than by genuine competitive merit.
Ego, whatever is making Jake take this fight. And I don't think it's healthy for him at all. I think this is going to be one-way traffic. I think AJ is going to hurt him very bad. And speaking of the insanity of this thing, here is what the first line is. Jake as a plus 800. I have a feeling that's going to shift even more toward AJ. at minus 1500, because again, how could you even see Jake winning this fight? Where's the possibility for Jake to actually get it done? I mean, look at this picture from them playing paintball a couple of years ago, I guess, or I don't know if it was paintball, but some sort of airsoft gunfighting. But look at the difference in the size. And I get it, you know, size doesn't just win fights, but AJ doesn't just have the size. He is more experienced at the highest level. He has fought guys that are smaller than him and are more experienced and better than Jake is. Again, Alexander Usyk twice. What better experience? I know Usyk is southpaw, but what better experience to get you prepared to fight a smaller guy than to fight the best, smallest guy coming up to heavyweight in Usyk that you could find? Yes, AJ is plotty and he's maybe a little stiff, and maybe his chin is not what it used to be, but that's still Anthony Joshua. So Nikisa Badarian did an interview with Sky Sports, Jake Paul's manager and co-founder of MVP. He had some things to say about the fight. Obviously, they're going to do a massive press tour around this thing. Let's take a look and listen at why Nikisa, maybe a hot take, says that Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua is more winnable for Jake Paul than Gervonta Davis would.
How dangerous is this for Paul?
This is a more dangerous fight than Gervonta Tank Davis, but it's a more winnable fight than Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta was small, fast, super skilled.
That is a fucking hot take. I don't know if that's crazy, but it's a hot take. Let's hear his reasons.
Gervonta was small, fast, super skilled. Joshua is big, heavy puncher, but not as evasive. So I think if Jake has the right game plan, he has a pretty good shot of winning this fight.
That's crazy. Now, first off, you know, a winnable fight with Gervonta Davis, it was an exhibition. So, you know, wins and losses, we weren't really going to be able to count there. But saying that it is a risky but more winnable fight, it's so hard to get on board with even the thought of Jake winning this. Like, there's only really, I think, one, maybe two avenues where Jake possibly can in some way win. But when Nikisa says it's a more dangerous but also more winnable, the only thing my mind jumps to is Jake is going to have to stand in front of Anthony Joshua, a literal destroyer at heavyweight, a literal one punch, send you to the hospital, potentially end your career puncher at heavyweight, and take the risk of eating that punch just to land a punch that potentially could knock AJ out. That is why the risk and reward factor, I have to think Nikisa's talking.
Professional boxer Lawrence Oakley adds an interesting perspective to the growing discussion by offering Jake Paul sparring help ahead of his fight with Anthony Joshua. Oakley explains that Joshua is not the type of fighter who automatically charges in looking for a first-round knockout. Instead, Joshua relies on a measured, calculated approach, taking his time to read his opponent, assess their reactions, and choose the right moments to attack. According to Oakley, the pace of any Joshua fight is determined largely by the opponent's ability to keep up, defend themselves, and withstand pressure. However, despite Joshua's patient style, Oakley makes it clear that the mismatch still remains enormous. Jake Paul would be forced to slow the fight down, survive Joshua's heavy shots, and handle a level of physical intensity he has never experienced. Even if Joshua takes his time, his natural power and elite skill make the challenge nearly impossible for Paul.
That's one I'm very difficult to know. And then number two, it's like, I want him to feel what it's like to be in there with a big, strong, world-class heavyweight before the day, because I don't want him to get hit with first jab and it's a whole new sensation. So, and you never know. You know, I think there's some game plans that he could cause a bit of trouble. You know what I mean? But
no, I'm gonna stop you. No. You tell me now then. Lawrence Oakley, former multi-time world champion. I say from serious because I think Jake is brilliant for the sport, and what he's done for especially the women's game, and what he is. I think he's fantastic, and he's showing other boxers coming through. Look where I've got from this. So you tell me now, in terms of a game plan, what you think.
There's three I see. One of which is, bear in mind, AJ is not I'm going to come out and get this over in 1 round kind of guy. He does do it, don't get me wrong, but that's based off of other people's work. So when you see AJ versus Ngannou and him were having a fight before AJ started landing the great right hands off of Ngannou going southpaw, I don't think AJ's first instinct is to go in and go double jump, uppercut, left hook, and rip into people. He likes to box. He's a natural boxer. So I think he's gonna be just going through stuff. He hasn't been in the ring for over a year. He's gonna be you know, popping jabs.
Television personalities Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara offer a starkly dramatic perspective on the fight, highlighting just how dangerously unpredictable it could be due to the vast gap between the two fighters. Their primary concern isn't necessarily who wins, but the inherent risk involved. They suggest Joshua may need to hold back to avoid causing serious harm to Paul, but even controlled heavyweight punches carry the potential for significant injury to someone unaccustomed to that power. Cundy and O'Hara question whether the fight should proceed at all given the extreme physical imbalance. Their commentary emphasizes the real danger that casual fans often overlook, reminding the public that this isn't just another entertainment spectacle. It carries genuine, serious risk.
I don't know, mate.
I think it's dangerous.
Yeah,
I genuinely think it's dangerous.
Well, but that's
putting a world heavyweight champion,
but then the silly,
you know, top 4 or 5 fighters in the world.
Then the cynic in me tells me,
who's never had a proper fight.
Right, the cynic in me straight away goes, I think AJ's probably going to be told, I don't know this. Don't go heavy on him the first.
No, he can't afford to do that. Anthony Joshua can't afford to do that.
Okay, but that's where I'm wrestling with my own mind right now. You asked me the question. How do I feel about it? I don't know what to make of it, mate. I seriously don't know what to make of it. I seriously don't.
It's a joke.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it.
I'll watch it because
I don't know whether I will, Jay. Honestly, I probably will close the vote. Right now, I don't know whether I will. I don't know whether I will, honestly. I didn't watch. Was it Jake Paul that fought? Who did he fight? Mayweather. No, Mayweather. I didn't watch that. Who fought Mayweather? Oh, it was. I tell you, it was. Who was the MMA fighter?
Logan Paul. One that you didn't know the name of yet.
Logan Paul, right? I didn't watch that one either, right?
I know, but Jake Paul's got a bit more boxing credential. He has.
What about McGregor? Who did McGregor fight? Did he fight someone? McGregor, have I made that up?
Yeah, I don't know. Where's your head at?
I don't know, mate.
I
mean,
it's all over the gap. You gave Andy your number and you gave him the top.
His name's Adam.
Adam, sorry. You gave Adam the number.
No.
He said 0371722.
I gave him the sports.
You gave him the sports number.
No, but I don't.
Get your head out.
No, I don't know. I don't know whether I will watch.
Analysts have highlighted another important aspect of this matchup: Anthony Joshua's mindset entering the fight. They argue that Joshua has little reason to treat this as a serious competitive challenge, and in their view, he shouldn't. When a world-class heavyweight faces a beginner-level opponent, there is no need for fear, overcomplicated strategy, or extreme caution. The logical approach is to control the fight efficiently and decisively. However, this mindset introduces a different challenge for Joshua. If the bout extends beyond 2 rounds, he risks harsh criticism from the public, who expect a quick finish when a seasoned, elite athlete faces a newcomer. Any perceived patience, restraint, or lack of pressure could be interpreted as underperformance. For Jake Paul, the stakes are entirely different. Even an immediate knockout does little to harm his reputation. He can still claim the experience of stepping into the ring against an Olympic gold medalist and former world champion, gaining attention, hype, and credibility regardless of the outcome.
And he's not putting his best performance forward. That's the issue. The issue is Anthony's like, how much you can pay me? It's on Netflix? Hold up. I can fight this guy who, when I was an amateur, a teenager, I fought better guys. And I have how much weight on him? I can fight him for how much money? Dude, I'll beat him in my sleep. Correct. And you should. And it's such a disservice to the sport of boxing and to the actual fans of boxing if Anthony Joshua doesn't go out there and absolutely dominate Jake Paul. If it goes to decision, if it goes past 6 rounds, Houston, we have a problem. Boxing, we have a problem. And now, people, where was this energy with Gervonta Davis? Different. You're talking about a very, very small guy. I've worked with Gervonta. He's fucking tiny, and size can overshadow a lot of that stuff. I still think Gervonta should still win that fight, and the body shots, if he's taking it seriously, that should have got the job done. But obviously, he has his legal issues, and that went out the window. But when you're talking about an actual world-class heavyweight who went toe-to-toe with Klitschko, with fucking all these bad boys, if Anthony Joshua takes it serious, as he should, this shouldn't even be a competition, and it's brilliant. Because for Jake, okay, cool, man. Got knocked out by one of the best to ever do it, or got finished by one of the best to do it. At least I got in there. And I'm not even a heavyweight. I'm a cruiserweight at best. Either I'm too light in the ass for that. I should be fighting down. He's shooting for the moon. He's going to land on the stars. Just to be absolutely clear, Jake.
Professional boxer Liam Cameron offers insight into the public perception surrounding the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight. He explains that many spectators already expect Joshua to dominate effortlessly, and some may even find entertainment in a one-sided contest. Cameron notes that mismatches, especially when a crossover star like Paul is involved, naturally attract attention. The curiosity, shock factor, and spectacle draw viewers, even when the actual sporting value is minimal. He emphasizes that the general expectation of Joshua's easy victory shapes the entire atmosphere of the event. Fans aren't primarily invested in the outcome. They're watching to see how long Paul can survive under immense pressure. This dynamic, Cameron argues, demonstrates that the fight functions more as theatrical entertainment than a genuine sporting contest, highlighting the spectacle over meaningful competition.
Like Jake Paul, Asia's going to do you a favour because it's going to flatten him. But big props to that Jake Paul for getting it ring. Listen to this, he's a multi-millionaire. Multi-millionaire. You don't have to box. And he's fighting him. He's either a madman or he knows something we don't know. But people like saying, oh, I won't take this Jake Paul fight. Listen, every boxer on the planet would fight Jake Paul. But money. I'd fight Anthony Joshua for money. We'll get flat and fight him. So yeah, just I think people sometimes have to watch what they say and think about it.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates and insights in the next episode.